Here we have another problem. We're asked to make R the subject or transpose for R. So we need to isolate R. But before we isolate R, we have to isolate R squared first. Good. So how do we isolate the R squared now? This W needs to go, so we need to group the W with the M over here. So we have PR squared equal M minus W. So in other words, we subtract W from both sides. So W from here is gone, and here we have minus W over here. So to get the R squared by itself, we need to get rid of this P here, right? And so we can divide both sides by P. Divide both sides by P. And P into P, that's 1, right? Leave us with R squared equal to M minus W over P. So if R squared is equal to all of this expression on the right hand side here, then what is R? You're correct. We can take the square root of both sides. So we take the square root of both sides. So we take the square root of R squared, we get R. And we take the square root of everything here on the right hand side, square root of M minus W upon P. And there we have R as the subject of the formula. Now here we have another one. We're asked to transpose for R. And again, before we can find R, we need to find R squared. So how do we get R squared by itself? So this pi and this h is multiplied to the R squared. So we need to get rid of the pi and the h. So divide by pi h. And now we have to do the same thing to both sides. So divide by pi h. This formula here is volume of a cylinder, pi r squared h. So pi into pi, that's 1. And h upon itself, that's 1, right? So we are left with r squared. And then we have v over pi h. So r squared is equal to v over pi h. To get r, we take the square root of both sides. So the square root of r squared is r, and then we take the square root of v over pi h, and that's our solution. R is the square root of v over pi h. Let's look at another one. Here we have another problem. 2m equal pi v squared plus 3t. So we're asked to transpose for v. And again, we have to get the v squared by itself. So we need to group the 3t, the positive 3t with the 2m here. So it becomes 2m minus 3t equal to pi v squared. And we want v squared by itself, so we need to get rid of this pi. So we divide both sides by pi. And pi over pi, anything divided by itself is 1, right? So 1 over 1. So what? Eventually we have just v squared is equal to 2m minus 3t over pi. And so we want to take the square root of both sides. So the square root of v squared, that's v. And the square root of everything over the left hand side. So v is equal to the square root of 2m minus 3t all over pi. One very important thing I need to point out though, when you're writing the solution, very important, this would be incorrect. Alright? That would be incorrect. It's a common mistake students make. The square root is for the entire left hand side there. Not just the 2m minus 3t, but the square root of the entire, for every single thing here. So we're taking the square root of every single thing here. Alright? All of that composite there. Good. root. So v is the square root of all of this. All of this. Alright? Some people normally just carelessly put the square root over the numerator alone, but it's really over everything. Alright? Next video we look at some different types of examples.